Welcome, everyone. My name is Jonathan Leonard. I have the pleasure of serving as the president of NAHSE Houston, and I am excited to be here with three very special guests. We have Kiara Miller, Angela Frazier, and Howard. Today, we're going to talk about the profession of project management within healthcare. And we have three amazing project managers in three different areas in healthcare. And right now I'm going to have them introduce themselves. And we'll start off with Angela. Angela, please introduce yourself to the audience.
Yes, my name is Angela Frazier. I serve as a project manager at Harris Health System, and I've been in project management for almost 2 years now.
Awesome. And next we have Howard. How about yourself?
Hey, good afternoon. My name is Howard Osatili. I am a senior project manager at Optum Health with United Health Group, and I've been a project manager for 5 years now.
All right. And last but not least, Kiara Miller.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kiara Miller, and I'm a project manager at Gulf Coast Regional Blood Center, and I have been a project manager in project management for 5.5 years.
Excellent, excellent. Well, as a former project manager, there are certain things I know about project managers. And one of my beliefs is that PMs make the world go round. Without PMs, a lot of things would not happen in our organizations. And with that, there's a lot of difficulties as well. We'll get into that. But the first thing I want to ask you, and we'll start off with Kiara, why did you pursue a career in project management?
So for me, I would say project management found me. So as a recent MHA graduate, a lot of positions that were available were, project coordinators, project specialists, project analysts. So my first position in project management was as a project analyst for a project management office for one of the health systems here in Houston. So I've been in that position as an analyst for about 1.5 years. And one of the things I love about project management is just the opportunity that, of course, projects are temporary. They're not operations, not ongoing. So they're temporary. They have a timeline. And also with project management, I just love to make improvements and love to see things come to fruition as far as with reaching the organization's goals.
Awesome, awesome. Howard, how about you?
Yeah, thanks, John. So that's a really good question. So I started my career after undergrad as a patient care associate working in the medical center. So I was definitely on the clinical side. A year into that, I became an account manager at a healthcare corporation that did prior authorization. And very quickly, I found out that if I really want to grow in my career from a tech perspective, because I worked in health IT, project management seemed the right lane. And, I'm facetious when I say this, but, I spoke to one of my directors and, he really gave me this story. I felt like I was a king from coming to America when he told me, in 10 to 20 years, maybe you could be a director just like me, right? So I truly wanted to find a quote unquote fast track to get to a mid-management job to further my career field quickly. So then pursuing certifications in project management, understanding that lane helped me to do so.
All right, Howard, I just want to say you get extra points for quoting one of my favorite movies of all time. So kudos to you. All right, Angela, how about you, Angela? Why did you pursue a project management career?
Well, for one, I'm going to be your least favorite person because I still have never seen Coming to America, but we won't do that today.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Back to project management. Howard and Kiara hit the nail on the head. I would say too, and I've always said that project management found me. Naturally, I've been someone who has always been involved in, now that I look back, some sort of project, the development of my mom's shelter for survivors of domestic violence in Oregon. It's always been something. But I would say, once I relocated here to Houston, I started meeting contacts within a NAHSE organization. And then someone reached out to me and said, hey, I think you'd be a really great project manager. You should apply to this position. I was thinking, I don't have that anywhere near my title. I wasn't a project, analyst before, nothing of that sort. But they were like, yeah, everything you do is that. So it really just came naturally for the most part. And I love it.
That is awesome. And we definitely have to get you in front of a TV to watch Coming to America. That is your project. over the neck before Black History Month starts. You should watch.
Yes,
Okay.
And the second
I
one's coming
think
out
John,
soon.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
I
So
think you had
let's.
6
Oh, go ahead.
Coming to America. No, I said I think you had 6 weeks to do it because Coming to America 2 comes out March 5th,
It
Amazon
does.
Prime. So
Okay.
It does. So
let me
there's a project, and we want to see a timeline and everything, Angela.
Okay.
All right. So shifting a little bit, think about, all of us. I have my master's in health administration. I know, Kira, you have your master's in health administration. Angela, I think you have your master's in public health. And Howard, I know you have your master's in, is it your MBA, if I'm not mistaken?
it's actually project management certifications. So I'm a PMP, a Six Sigma Green Belt,
Okay.
Scrum product owner.
Oh man, you got all the letters behind your name. So I know one of the things that happened to me as I was graduating, I was trying to figure out what can I do, with my degree. And I think that's a question of a lot of people who are currently in school, or maybe they've just graduated and they're trying to figure out which way do I go. And I think project management is a really good area for someone to pursue. So Howard, what would you say and what would you recommend to someone who may still be in school or just finished school and is interested in pursuing project management?
That's a really good question. So myself was caught in odds. I talked to a lot of directors who, had their PhD or MBA, and I really were candid. What do you recommend more for someone who specifically wants to be a project manager, a PMP, or an MBA? And a lot of them focused on the PMP route. So what I would recommend someone who, let's say you're an undergrad or in grad school, is to focus on the project management methodology from a certification perspective, whether it is your CAPM, Certified Associate Project Management, or your PMP. And as for me, I'm a tech guy, so I definitely liked a lot of the agile certifications that I could learn. But prior, I would definitely recommend them getting internships, specifically in the field as a project coordinator, to understand the scheduling perspective and what goes on around a full project through and through. And at the same time, be studying to either, get an advanced degree in project management or one of a strong project management certification.
That's excellent. Excellent. Angela, how about you? What would you recommend to someone who's interested in pursuing project management?
Yeah, so if you're someone like myself who didn't have, the title before or the additional certifications that some others may have, I would think about how to really maximize, your strengths, especially when it comes to interviewing and thinking about, in my life, how have I done project management naturally. Something else I would say is, take every opportunity. I've always been big on wherever the opportunity is, never be afraid to leave home, go to a new city, start over. So those I feel like are like my main things around. And those are kind of life things, but at the same time, it goes hand in hand with the project management experience as well.
Awesome. Awesome. And finally, Kira, what about you?
I think it's all been said, but I would like to add that I would say, if you're interested in project management, look for those who are project managers or project analysts or project coordinators or project specialists, because those will be the people that, let you know their journey and help you along your way. And then also where you're currently working at, I would say try to find if there's projects within your organization that you can work on, just different opportunities. So I would say take advantage of, what's available to you and definitely network. I think networking is a great start. And then also if you're interested in project management, like Howard mentioned, look into the certifications. So look into PMI, the Project Management Institute, look at their site, maybe consider being a member and working towards those certifications.
Yeah, excellent suggestion. I definitely want to reiterate PMI.org is a great resource. They have lots of tools on there that you can look and study, and you can also see the requirements that you need to take the test to sit for the PMP, or if you're at the CAPM level, certainly it'll have that as well. So really great resource. Thanks for mentioning that, Kira. So really the big question for those who don't know about project management is, what do you all do on a day-to-day basis? And one of the reasons I chose you all specifically is because you do work in very different settings within healthcare. And so I anticipate that these answers will vary quite a bit. So, Kira, what do you do? What is a normal day, if you can call a normal day? What does a normal day for a Kira look like as a project manager?
Meetings and emails. I would say what I do in my industry at the Blessing is very similar to what the other project managers may do in healthcare. So for me, I work with external vendors as far as making sure that we're implementing our laboratory equipment in addition to our information management systems. And then also we're regulated by the FDA. So it's making sure that I'm working with our quality assurance department to make sure we're in compliance and following those guidelines. So along with those projects happens meetings. So it's meetings with the different stakeholders, team members, just to stay on track for our projects. And then also the project updates. So updating, our projects in Microsoft Project, putting together PowerPoint presentations, and then of course taking meeting minutes. So along with project management, in addition to meeting, comes with a lot of documentation. So I would say on a day-to-day basis, it's a lot of meetings, emails, and documentation, and just kind of staying on track of your project and meeting with your different stakeholders.
That's interesting. You mentioned stakeholders. I'll come back to a question about that. But Angela, how about you? What does a normal day look like for you?
Yeah, so my title is actually District Project Manager, which is Delivery System Reform Incentive Payment Program. And so to make that as simple as possible, it's about improving patient outcomes. So what my role looks like is, Harris Health System has 3 pavilions. There's Bentob, LBJ, and then ambulatory care services, so all outpatient. So that's my role. I am kind of that liaison from district to outpatient. So I tend to meet with our triad members at each of our health centers, which is the ops manager, nurse manager, and medical director. I present to them what their numbers look like. For example, diabetic patients, we want to make sure we're giving X amount of foot exams. So I pull up what those numbers look like for their clinic and then break it down to their providers and typically ask for a corrective action plan back so that I can present that to leadership on this is how this clinic is going to improve their metrics. And then they present at our quality review council each month. So I keep track of that. And if there's any specific projects happening around, say, colorectal cancer screening, cervical cancer screening, things of that sort. So if there's something that's not achieving or is really close to goal, but is not there yet, I'm someone who kind of puts those projects into place and make sure I see them through, and that the health centers are also doing their part. So it's interesting. I would say same with Kiera. The meetings, definitely putting together those PowerPoints and things of that sort, because we're not going to expect that from providers, right? So a lot of holding people accountable and checking in and all that good stuff. But it's fun. It changes. I feel like the great thing about project management is, so I do that as my day to day, but then we just transitioned to a new building, and so one of our VPs felt like I was a great project manager, and she said, I think Angela should be on the move project. I know nothing about construction, and but it was awesome. It was a great experience. It was good. It was a lot of lessons learned, though. I would say that for sure.
Absolutely. All right, Howard, how about you? What do you see on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, good question. So I would first start and say my life, no day is the same, right? But what I do from a software development and operations project, I set the direction of where our project is headed, right? So I like to use, a visionary and a coaching leadership style. As I start from the very beginning, right? We have an RFP that goes out to a specific vendor for a product we want to implement. I also take on a role as a business analyst, one who documents the BRD, the business requirements document, to get our actual requirements. But I assemble our team, whether it's a team of contractors or an internal team, and I push the project through to multiple different phases. So that encompass meetings, right? Building relationships with individuals, making sure that I don't have scope creep within my projects, that we have clearly defined goals. Team meetings, I drive out the focus of the week of what we're doing. We lay out steps, make things easy. As a project manager, I like to put it in bite-sized pieces of what individuals need to do, have those weekly, sometimes daily touch points if an issue does arise. But as a whole, I make sure that my leadership team who's looking for progress on the project are less stressed, because they are comfortable and confident of where the project is moving based on the timeline. Personally, within myself, I go through a waterfall and agile methodology depending on the nature of the project, which encompasses, a lot of communication, right? I think they say 80% of what we do is communicating nuance and to specific crowds, whether they're lay or not. Risk management, but on a day-to-day perspective, it's a lot of meetings. There's definitely documentation that goes on, negotiating to make sure the stakeholders that I have on my project are skilled to a certain degree to carry out the work. And honestly, what I really want to say is relationship building and communication aspect is the nook and cranny to actually delivering those projects.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I actually do want to follow up on that, on the relationship building piece, because I've seen like technically proficient project managers who maybe aren't so good at communicating or good at building relationships, and it's sunk projects because of that. So anybody can chime in here. What would you say is the most important way to build relationships with your stakeholders who, again, they're looking to get things done, but what are some ways that you've built relationships with stakeholders?
I would say transparency for sure, and also accountability. So there are times where district reports aren't always as accurate as they should be. I'll say that. And there is definitely, when we meet with the providers and things of that sort, we have to make sure that, if there's something that they do not feel is, right, or, as clear, to make sure that we're taking that back. And then also that we follow up with them on, hey, these are the changes that were made, or this is what the next steps are for things like that. So I would say for me, it's definitely been transparency and also that accountability as well.
It's good. Howard or Kira, what would you say? Any advice on relationship building?
Sure, I'll go. A lot of times you have projects with people you never worked with before. So for me, when I get a new project, I like to meet with a project lead, just kind of establish expectations to find out exactly, what do they want, what do they expect, and then also when we have our first kickoff meeting, kind of introduce the project to the organization and everybody and let them know what expectations are. So I think, like Angela mentioned, transparency is very important as far as relationship building. And then also, if you notice a certain team member maybe behind in a task or something, I like to not oust them out in the meeting, but, kind of hold them accountable, like, okay, this is due. But then maybe after that meeting, give them a call or email and just kind of understand, is there anything that I can help you with, any roadblocks, anything that can escalate to make sure things are done. So I think as a project manager, it's really important to keep the communication lines open, whether or not, it's through email or a call. So in any emails, I always put, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. So I think it's just kind of setting that tone of, I'm here, I'm available if you need anything. So I think that's very important relationship building, letting the team know that you're a project manager willing to help them with their tasks to get things done.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Howard, you going to say something?
I would definitely echo everything that you guys said, because that's everything to relationship building. One thing that I like to do with my project at the very beginning, if I have the opportunity to start at the beginning, I like to discover what my team members' DISC profile is, right? To get a quick personality assessment. But outside of developing a team operating agreement on, hey, these are red flags, this is how we'll communicate with each other, this is the level of detail we'll hold each other accountable. I really like to have, a 15-minute one-on-one with all of my key SMEs on the team to ask them, What is the impact of this project on your life? What new skills and abilities are you hoping to learn, right? How can I help coach you to get you to your next step? And as I do that, when I delegate tasks, when we work together, I'm able to more align what we're doing with where they want to go. So it's a coaching perspective, right? This project is an opportunity for you to grow and expand, to get to where you want to go, right? By asking those thoughtful questions. Definitely setting expectations, right? What this project is, what you can expect from me, and what I expect from you. That goes hand in hand. And when you lead by example, by holding yourself accountable, it can start to permeate throughout the team. And, just having those fun sessions, celebrating people, having public recognitions, that goes a long way with building those relationships.
Yeah, no, those are great, great, great ideas. One thing Kara said that I kind of laughed at, but definitely don't throw people under the bus in a meeting or on email. That does not help with relationship building at all,
Yes.
ever. And it doesn't feel good to the person, who may be thrown under the bus. So, or if it's being done to you, it does not feel good. So definitely want to harp on that as well. Next question is, project management is wonderful. Certainly you have a lot of responsibility. You have a lot of visibility in your organization being a project manager, but there are so many challenges with being a project manager. And I wanted to get from you all, we'll start with Angela, what is the most challenging aspect of project management to you?
Well, for me, it's been keeping projects going. That's been something that was probably one of my more challenging things. I think for a lot of others, it's keeping organized. I'm naturally a pretty organized person, but I feel like those are kind of our things in project management that I would find more challenging. And but what's been helpful on that end is really keeping those lessons learned, like documenting. Sometimes I do it like midway through my projects, but especially at the end, kind of going through from start to finish and saying like, okay, these are my lessons learned. This is what I would change going forward.
Yep, I concur. Lessons learned are super helpful, so you don't make the same mistake twice. Kira, how about you?
I would say the hardest thing is tackling company culture. A lot of times in my current organization, in my first project management position, I was there for about a year. So, these organizations have been around 30, 40 years. So they have this way of always doing things, right? So with project management comes change. And a lot of people don't like change. So for me, tackling company culture has been difficult because I would say that you have to have the support of your executives and leadership, first of all, to make things happen. And then a lot of times your stakeholders, they don't report directly to you. So it definitely has to be a culture of accountability there. And then also you're not the subject matter expert in certain things. So you're depending a lot heavily on your stakeholders. So I would definitely say tackling company culture has been a big challenge for me.
Yep, because people like to do things the way they've always been done, even if it's not the best way to do it. So I agree. Howard, how about you? What's the most challenging aspect of project management?
Yes, you just hit it on the head. I would say it is being able to lead without authority. So here at Optum, we work in a highly matrix organization to where my project team does not report to me because I'm not their resource manager. So truly being able to get that buy-in and being able to lead without authority requires finesse, to say the least. And with that, having executive stakeholder buy-in. I've had projects to where I've done everything great, excellent project plans, working with the team. We have our milestone schedule. We're going to hit budget. But if executive leadership is not bought in to tackle those high-level escalations, a project can fail. So it's a lot of almost a selling point of your project to let your executive stakeholders know, or your executive sponsor more so to know, this is why this project is so important, right? This is the justifications behind it, the ROI that we will get. It's a dance to get a high-level sponsor that buy-in if they're not giving it to you on the front end.
Yeah, no, man, that's great. The word finesse gets thrown around a lot, and usually in a negative connotation, but you do have to be able to convince and finesse people to actually get the job done. So I'm glad you said that. And sometimes people have their own agendas and things they want to do, and sometimes your project is not at the top of their mind, and you have to be able to work with that. So thank you for that feedback. Last question I'll ask is, we talked about the challenging aspects of project management. What would you say, and we'll start with Howard, what would you say is the most rewarding aspect of project management?
Yeah, so I come from a sports back. I come from a sports background. I played football, I ran track, and played basketball. So whenever I approach my projects, it's from a quarterback's mindset to make sure that everyone is truly on the same page and we're running towards the same direction. So what's very rewarding is being able to bring a team together. We go through those forming, storming stages, but to have a team that's truly performing, firing on all cylinders, and we are enjoying our work, right? We're holding each other accountable and we're building true relationships that go much further beyond the project that we're working on. And that is the reward I get from working these projects.
Awesome, awesome. Angela, how about you?
Oh, I was almost gonna say the exact same thing. I feel like it's the it's the relationship. When I've given like different updates on different meetings, I've had different leaders reach out to me via email after and just say, like, your updates are very refreshing, very, concise with my updates. And also just in general, they said like your energy and your aura like just changes the room. I think that's just part of being bubbly and also probably part of being one of the younger people in the crew that I'm always like really excited and just happy to like be in the room, be in the meetings. And so, those have, cultivated really great relationships because if they reach out to me, I'm almost always going to email back saying, thank you. And can I get some time on your calendar? Just because happy that, I got the opportunity, to be recognized in that way. And so I would say that the relationships for sure, same with our clinic locations that I meet with. I've been able to, bring them into different conferences and vice versa. It's been really great.
Excellent, excellent. And last but not least, Kira, your most rewarding aspect of project management.
I would definitely have to say relationship building, but also I would say for me, just seeing my projects come to fruition. So at work when you walk around a certain department, you're like, yeah, I built that out. I help with this, I help with the budget, I help with the vendors, ordering the equipment. So kind of seeing the physical, tangible aspects of it. And to this day, one of my first projects was building out the 8th floor of one of the buildings off of OST. So when I drive by, I'm like, I built that infusion center out. So I think, actually seeing things come to fruition. And then also, of course, in healthcare, knowing that, you're helping your patients, improving healthcare. So I would definitely see that as rewarding. And then also with project management, I felt the skills are so transferable. So of course, Angela and I, we're using our project management skills with planning the women's conference. And then also I'm using those skills in different organizations with my sorority and so forth. So I love project management. And I definitely say that just what's rewarding about it is it's just not, work. You actually can use those skills in your life. So yeah, that's what I love about project management. That's what's been most rewarding.
Nice. And I love how you plugged the Women's Forum on March 6th, 2021, that NAHSE Houston is hosting. We'd love to see you out there. Just a quick plug. But yes, I'm so grateful that each of you were able to join us today. Again, I chose you all for a reason because number one, you're just phenomenal people, but two, you work in different areas and you've had some really great experiences with project management. Before we end, I do want to ask if any of you all have any final or closing thoughts for our audience that you'd like to pass along?
I would just add that, and I think it was said here, but if you're interested in project management, take that leap and reach out to someone who is in a role as a project manager, coordinator, or analyst to learn about their experience and then take the leap.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Jonathan, I want to thank you again for inviting me to this interview. I've learned so much from these two wonderful women. You guys are a plethora of knowledge. But I would also add that definitely if you are looking to become a project manager, um, don't sit back and wait for someone to tap you on the shoulder. I've also learned so much more about myself about being a project manager, right? I had certain weaknesses that I couldn't address because they were not clear to me. But being a project manager, you are right. You're the face of the project as a whole, and I was able to address and grow personally from my development as a project manager.
Awesome. Awesome.
I
Kiara?
would, I would say, if you're interested in project management, I would say within your organization where you're working at, look for different opportunities. I guess my start of project management was got my Lean Six Sigma green belt. So I believe Howard is a green belt as well. So even though it's not a project management certification, it does have different components of project management. So I would say any opportunity that's available for you to get any type of certification, look into that. And then also, if you don't have the title as project manager, you're probably doing project management. So I have helped a lot of applicants with their PMP application. And one of the things I noticed is that you may not have the title of project manager, but you may be doing different aspects of project management, which you can put on your application to use to apply for a certification. So with that being said, I would say, definitely research. If it's something you're interested in, start early because to get your certification, it is a process and you want to make sure that, you start early and get the necessary steps in order. But yeah, what I would recommend if you're interested in project management, feel free to reach out, of course, to any of us or anybody that you know that's a project manager. Will be more than willing to help you along the way because, of course, many people helped us along the way. So I would say if you have any questions, just feel free to reach out to any of us. And like the other panelists, I'm grateful to be on this call and thank you for the opportunity.
Yes. Well, again, thank you all, Angela, Howard, Kiara. You all are amazing. I'm not going to stop saying that because you just are great people. And I thank the audience for watching and follow us on, subscribe to our YouTube channel for NAHSE Houston, and also follow us on LinkedIn. We'll have some more videos like this throughout the rest of the year. We look forward to seeing you. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of the day.
Thanks so much, guys. Have a good one.
Yeah.